under the skin. It is also the place where our lymphatic system flows, and it also rich with the blood vessel, and it's also rich with the ending of the nerve. So the superficial fascia just beneath the skin, and it is also form the face expression. So let's say you have a lot of fear, you can see from your face. That's why Sensei always look at your face, what is the expression. It can also relate to the meridians, because the fascia beneath the skin will form the expression. It's also translate the sensation from the outside, translate the touch, because it's rich with the nerve ending in this fascia. And it also determine the body shape, because it holds the fat. And the fascia here, usually the color is a little bit yellowish. It's not really white. And after, let's say, if you cook meat from the raw meat, for example, when you cut after the skin, then you find the fat layer. And under the fat layer, before you get the meat, that's actually something that wrap the meat. Yeah, that's the white tough thing that make your meat become tough. So that's the deep fascia, we call it. From the structure, it is much denser than this loose connective tissue underneath the skin, the superficial fascia. And the deep fascia has the function to enclose the muscles and continue enclose the organs and continue enclose the bones. So the muscle fiber or the muscle cell that enclosed by the fascia will send the contraction force through the fascia.
Because that's how I relate to fascia, because I'm not sure if you're familiar when Muslims, when they kill sheep, they have to, so that's that white thing they pull out. That's what I just was like, oh, would that be that's the fascia?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
That's the deep fascia, we call it, yeah. Just below the superficial fascia. Okay, let's say you have, this is a picture of our thigh muscle. So if I cut through my thigh muscle, then I look from the surface. So you can have the bone here, the thigh bone, and here we have the skin, and here we have the fat, and this is the muscle, right? So here, just beneath the skin, we have the fat layer, and you can see here the blood vessel as well, and the yellow one is the nerve. So this is the superficial fascia hold this fat under the skin. This is called superficial fascia. Then the deep fascia will continue. As you can see, it forms a bag-like structure. So it wraps around each muscle. So that's why when you cook your meat, then you need to remove that because it's tough. So when you remove that, you can make juicier meat because this one, the structure is really dense. So once you cut this out, you can have this one. As you can see, each muscle separated because each muscle enclosed, wraps by the fascia. So that's why we can see different form of the fascia of the muscle. So the form, the shape of the muscles created by the fascia. If you don't have the fascia here, then it's just ground meat. It's just like ground meat. Yeah, ground meat, you cannot separate each muscle, right? So it's just mashed together. So the fascia give our muscle the form, the shape. I place my hands. As long the glue still in the liquid form, I can move my hands freely. Once I stop the movement, now the liquid glue that was a liquid before, now it's getting stickier and it sticks my hands together. Now when I try to move my hands, it will restrict my movement. It will restrict my movement, right? Because now they stick together. And we have the fascia in the between, the fascia allows the movement, pain-free. It also can be the cause of the pain in our movement. So let's say I need to do my warrior pose. I need to contract my muscle. So if my quadricep muscles here can slide against each other easily, when I contract my muscle, I can feel that it works. But once I do this position, I start to feel the pain, the restriction in my movement. It means the fascia stick together. That restricts the movement, the sliding of the muscles. Do you understand what I mean? Let's say I want to cut this part until the muscle. So you have this structure. So this is the skin. This is the superficial fascia that hold, that bind the fat, and also the place for the blood vessel and the nerves. And beneath the superficial fascia, we have what we call deep fascia. And here we have the fascia that wraps around the muscle. So actually it consists of some layers. It's not only one layer, but you can see this is the deep fascia. Then you have the fascia that wraps the muscle. But when you do the dissection, it's not really, you can easily separate because it becomes one. But let's say we have a different layer here, 2 layers. So the outer one is the deep fascia, and the middle one that wraps around the muscle. It's also part of the deep fascia. And in the between, underneath my skin, we have the deep fascia, the superficial, and then the deep fascia. And before I get my muscle, I will have this structure that called hyaluronic acid layer. Now you can, even though it's stay together like this, I can still thread the muscle fiber because each muscle fiber wrapped by a fascia. It differs with the sausage. Sausage doesn't have the fascia within it, so you cannot thread the sausage. So when they join together, they form a new group that consists some of the muscle fiber. So they will form a new layer here. Some muscle fiber wrapped by fascia. It's same, the fascia, but because it wraps some of, this is the group of the muscle fiber. So for the structure, it needs to be thicker, right? If you compare, now the fascia just wrap one muscle fiber. It's quite loose. It's not too strong. It's not too thin, too thick. But now if the fascia wraps around groups, you need to have the thicker structure of the fascia. And then now you have different other groups of the muscles. So let's say now you have different groups. Now this group also wraps by the fascia. So now you have 2 groups. See? And these 2 groups join together. Then you need the different structure that wraps it. Now if I open the wrapper, and I can still see the form. So this is the same. This is one muscle fiber wraps by the fascia that called endomysium. Then some of the muscle fiber joins together, form a group that wraps by the fascia that called perimysium. Then this group and group join together, form one big muscle. It calls the fascia that wraps around it. It's a bit thicker, a bit denser, and it is called epimysium. So this is, if we say the structure, the fascia structure in our muscle form 3 layers. The deepest one we call endomysium, the outer layer we call perimysium, and the outermost layer we call epimysium.